Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Sometimes it's refreshing to see a bully not having any authority or any impact on a victim, or at least impact over a situation due to its impotence at that particular instance. In this case, we have a country who in the past 30 years was used to being able to impose and push around whomever they wanted at any point, with sanctions, with threats, with blackmail, even with invasions or bombardments. I'm talking about the United States of America, unfortunately. Why am I saying unfortunately is because we have a leadership that's not doing the bidding of the population, the citizenry. The citizenry is just used for taxes and labor, and for their every 4 years go to vote. That's it. And then they do whatever they want. They got like a blank check, and they think that for 4 years they do everything they want in our name, and that's the mass democracy. Now, what they do, what these handlers of ours, of us, because they don't belong to us, we belong to them, or they own us. They are used to, as I said, for the past 30 years to tell everybody what to do. And everybody was doing and scrambling like little chicken, scared in a corner and doing. So this guy, like a drunk with a shotgun in a parking lot, everybody was running away from this guy's sight of So now unfortunately there are some countries who push back, and this guy is met when he's with a shotgun drunk in a parking lot. There are some other ones with the same shotgun and they're not drunk, so it's kind of like becomes sober immediately, that he can't really go and do what used to, because there's those guys now, they're ready to shoot back, and they're capable of shooting back, willing and able. In this case, the United States of America, again, I like when they urge or they call on or they tell a country to immediately. When I hear the immediately, my hair on my legs is like this. Psst. Okay, so let's see what they order again, and what is kind of like, even if it's against Russia, and how Russia is portrayed and so on, even if it's against Russia, it still gives a kind of satisfaction when you see that the bully is opposed by another bully, or whatever you want to call that, however you want to call Russia. But at least you get a satisfaction that this guy, who actually should be in your team, but those guys over there, they're not in our team, just to make sure those guys are doing the bidding of other interests. We are here just to play ball, be around, play, that we are over here, so they have legitimacy that we voted for them, and they appoint one another however they want over there, and then they implement whatever policies they want, and they take whatever actions without asking us. Did they ask me for the aid for Ukraine? No. Who's going to pay that? Me, my children, your children, and their children. Did they ask me? No. They asked me about the invasion in, let's say Yugoslavia, or bombardment? No. Did they ask me about the invasion in Iraq? No. Did they ask me about Afghanistan? No. Syria? No. And those are major stuff. About sanctions on Iraq, did they ask me about it? Where about, 500,000 children died because of the sanctions? Remember Madeleine Albright? I wasn't asked about that. Were you? No. So you see, these guys do whatever they want. And what can you do? You're going to vote them out. With whom? With the same kind of shit with a different face. That's what it is. So US calls on Russia to immediately halt filtration, deportation of Ukrainians. This article comes from the New Voice of Ukraine, August 26th. So US calls on Russia to immediately halt filtration, deportation of Ukrainians. And Russia does. That's what they say. All right, and they call on Russia. So let's see how they call on Russia. And I'm quoting: "We again call on Russia to immediately halt its filtration operations and forced deportation, and to provide outside independent observers access to identified facilities and forced deportation relocation areas within Russia-controlled areas of Ukraine and inside Russia itself, the State Department said in a report. And the Russians said, that's not true. Do something about it. Oh, they are. The Red Cross is in Russia. If they say, oh, this is a report of coming from the Red Cross, then Russians will say, well, those are your guys. Well, obviously you influence them, you scare them. They're not credible. Next. Or they could say, oh, we can't do that. You know why? Because it's very unsafe to allow independent observers to come. And we care for people's safety. All kind of weasel argumentation. But this, attitude is like you ask them, okay, can I leave some observers wherever you are operating? No, it's not safe. Not safe. No. Anyway, and then they say here, to identified facilities. Okay, there are facilities. What do you want to do with them? Unsafe for you to come and inspect it at this moment. Thank you very much. And then forced deportation. There's no forced deportation. It's only voluntary, and it's not deportation. It's running away from bombardment of Ukraine. These are the arguments the Russians will give you. And what are you going to say? How are you going to prove to us that this is how? I don't know. It's just a they say, he says, she says, whatever. It's said that the United States call for the documentation, verification, and dissemination of information regarding the actions of the Russian government. None of your business. They will not let you in. As such, the U.S. Department-supported conflict observatory program will be provided with an additional $9 million through the European Democratic Resilience Initiative. The Reuters news agency reported on August 25 that, according to a new report by Yale University, researchers backed by the U.S. State Department, Russia and its proxy forces in Ukraine are operating in 21 locations used to detain, interrogate, and process prisoners of war and civilians. The Russians will say, that's false. And hey, in Yale, George W. Bush was in Yale, not credible institution. Next. The report said, you see, they can claim whatever stupidity they want. I mean, you can come with, and they say, well, but we have a report here done by the Moscow University, which says that, where it says that they found that those filtration camps, they are illegitimate because they have to. You can't leave terrorists coming, that's all kind of terrorists and infiltration groups, and we have to make sure that they are safe. Everybody's safe. I mean, weasel talk. But it's not about that. It's about, it says the report cites commercial satellite imagery and open source information to identify with high confidence the separate locations, including facilities that previously served as schools, markets, and regular prisons. Yes. When it's a war zone, a lot of damage occurs, and a lot of schools, a lot of houses get destroyed. What do you do with those people? You get them and you put them in camps. And you feed them and you clothe them and you protect them from the elements. That's what you do. What are you supposed to do? What do you think you will do? And why you? And why the international thing? No, it's my thing. It's on my territory. I will allow the observers to come when I decide. Because your observers are also weasels. And they are not, like, oh, the observers are just workers and they're... Believe me. Remember when they sent at the nuclear power plant in Iran observers from IAEA, and they were all working for Mossad, CIA, and MI6 and a few others? Remember? And they said, we're never going to allow you to come back here. They were not inspectors. Those were people with different goals, different tasks. They were conducting certain kind of operations over there. So do you think these guys are going to be just observers? Yeah, okay. And even if it's so, if the Russians don't want to let you come in, they don't want to let you come in. They will let you come in when they want you to come in. What do you want? And don't tell me that when it was the Iraq war, everybody was okay over there. And Mosul, everybody was accepted in Mosul. Remember Mosul? Yeah, I do remember Mosul. There was a carnage. They would bombard the shit out of their town. They would flatten it. Where were the observers? Not allowed. How far were they? I don't know, like 50 miles away from the whole thing. I still remember that. But, yeah, because it was not safe. For your own safety, we're not going to let you come closer. But I want to go. No, for your own safety, we can't let you. We are in control of you. We are telling you what to do. It's our war here. That's how they talked with those guys. I remember the freaking articles then. Anyway, thank you very much for immediately. And the Russians will say bye-bye. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.